Hi there, this is Dotha bringing you their Wrestling Time post show. It is Monday, July 3rd, 2023, and tonight I will be talking about Monday Night Raw. So, this Raw was truly something, in my opinion. I think quite a few things happened, and one of the things I want to talk about is that Shayna Baszler Ronda Rousey segment. Ronda Rousey came out, and then Shayna Baszler came out, and she said that she speaks for everybody when she says that everybody's sick and tired of hearing Ronda speak on the mic. I was like, dang, I can't believe she said that. But I mean, she's not wrong. I think one of the biggest complaints or criticisms is Ronda Rousey's mic skills. Shayna says that she's the reason that Ronda is in the WWE and owes everyone an apology for bringing her into this business. That unlike Ronda, she's paid her dues. And she scratched and clawed her way to get here, and that Shayna had to kick the door down while Ronda Rousey walked in through the back door and went straight to WrestleMania. That is so true, because the first match Ronda Rousey ever had for WWE was a mixed tag match with Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie, and then she was in the main event at WrestleMania with Charlotte and Becky. Shayna goes on to say, let's see. It was the best promo from Shayna since coming to the main roster. I agree. Shayna says, believe it or not, I love this, and Ronda has ruined it for her. She says she owes her that someone can finally shut her up. And then, she gave her that running knee and put her in an ankle lock. I was like, dang. If booked properly and correctly, this could be an incredible feud. And I really hope Shayna Baszler is the one that goes over. I mean, there's rumors going around that Ronda Rousey is leaving WWE. So if those rumors are true, it would make sense for Ronda to want to put her friend Shayna Baszler over. But dang, this was a really good promo and a really good segment. Honestly, I'm actually excited. It will be booked for SummerSlam. Really? Okay. I think I can see that. I can see. And like I said, Shayna Baszler needs to win this. And you know something? After this, I would really hope that they built up Shayna Baszler to potentially take the title off of Rhea Ripley. Because think about it, you guys, they can run it back. Remember when Shayna Baszler was the Queen of Spades and she was in NXT and she was NXT champion? Who took the title off of her? Who took the title off of her? Rhea Ripley, right? So wouldn't it be something if Shayna Baszler is the one to take that title off of Rhea Ripley? But you gotta build her up. And I think this is a great way to start. Okay. So Monday Night Raw opened up with Seth Freakin Rollins. And of course, he says he recaps a little bit of Money in the Bank. He mentions how Jey Uso finally gave Roman Reigns his first pin in 3 years, and he brings up Io Sky and Damian Priest being the winners of their respective Money in the Bank matches. He talks about how SummerSlam is 5 weeks away, and then Cody Rhodes comes out, and before he can even say anything, Brock Lesnar comes out, and this leads into a brawl, and then Cody Rhodes hits the Cody Cutter onto Brock Lesnar. So I had a problem with this. Not necessarily with the brawl between Lesnar and Cody, but why have Seth Rollins go out there first? You could have had Cody Rhodes just go out there and then have Brock Lesnar attack him. You didn't have to have Seth Rollins on there. I'm going to jump a little bit ahead because later on in the night, there was an interview with Cody Rhodes where he talks about he's a man of his word and that Lesnar broke his arm and he wants another shot at Lesnar. He says he will fight Lesnar at every night. So during that interview, you could have had Brock Lesnar attack Cody Rhodes there. You didn't really have to involve Seth Rollins in this. So after this brawl happens, once again you get Seth Rollins in the ring. So this was my issue, was that I feel like there was so much going on. You could have literally just had set up the Seth Rollins match and then done Lesnar Cody, or you could have done Lesnar Cody and then have Seth Rollins go out there. I just felt like there was too much going on in the opening. But what did you guys think? Same old tire brawl from Lesnar and Cody. Still no explanation as to why Lesnar attacked him. Yeah, exactly. Still no explanation. Okay. So, Judgment Day interrupts Seth Freakin Rollins, and Ripley says that everyone is there to see Judgment Day take over. And Seth Rollins asks where Finn Balor is. Rhea says that Finn Balor is fine, and that Priest should. Damian Priest says that he should not concern himself with Judgment Day business. Damian Priest then goes on to say he can cash in whenever he wants, including tonight. I thought this part was funny. Seth Rollins says he's fresh as a daisy. So this basically is supposed to set up Dominik Mysterio versus Seth freaking Rollins in the main event. There are going to be so many Cody versus Brock matches, they can put them in all in a DVD compilation. That's funny. Let me see. Shayna is a badass wrestler. She can be if they build her up. This leads into Shinsuke Nakamura versus Damian Priest, which I thought was a decent match. I have no idea why this match happened, though. This match just randomly happened. I felt like this match was mostly all of Damian Priest, more so than Nakamura. But I feel bad for Nakamura since he came to Raw, really hasn't done anything. I mean, his whole feud with Ricochet and Bronson Reed didn't go anywhere, it seems like it. So, it seems like Nakamura is just kind of there. A compilation I know will buy. So after this is when we get that Ronda Rousey segment, but I talked about that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it. So we get the women's tag team turmoil match. There were two random teams in here. It was Emma and Nikki Cross and Dana Brooke and Tia Nox. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't Emma and Dana Brooke a tag team and END? So why couldn't they have reunited and then just maybe paired up Nikki Cross with Tia Nox or something? But anywho, like Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae were like the first team eliminated here. This show should have called Monday Night Recap since it was more recaps than wrestling. Yeah, true that. And then not only that, but Dana Brooke and Tegan Nox were eliminated during picture-in-picture. So I will say I am happy Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green are getting an opportunity at those tag titles again. But hopefully they win this time. Otherwise, if they lose, then what was the whole point of them winning this? I mean, they pretty much dominated this turmoil match. They eliminated every team. Now, I feel like they're trying to hold off on, what's your name? Katana Chance and Katana Chance, or the KCs, from getting a tag team title shot. You know, I mean, I don't think they would want to make them tag team champions just yet. But the fact that we got two random teams out there kind of just shows the lack of depth in this women's tag team division. This whole division is a mess. This tag team turmoil just shows how terrible the women's division is. Because they don't care about the women's tag team division. They really don't. So we had a Becky Lynch in-ring promo. Basically, she's talking about how she can move on from not winning Money in the Bank, but what she can move on is from Trish Stratus. And she wants Trish to come down and fight. And so when Trish Stratus comes out, she comes out with Zoe Stark. She comes out with her head down. And then she lifts up her head and she had the whole face mask. I got flashbacks to 2003, 2004 when Trish broke her nose. And it's funny because Lita broke her nose there. And this time it was Becky Lynch. So she's had her nose broken by two redheads. And I remember during that time, Trish told Lita she's going to pay for what she did to her face, her beautiful face. So I got flashbacks to that. Trish says she is medically cleared to wrestle, and no one's better than her because she's a goat. Now here's the thing, Becky laughs at Trish's broken nose, but I'm sure she wouldn't have wanted anybody laughing at her when Nia Jax broke her nose. Trish says she is the face of the women's division, the division she created. And Trish says Zoe's going to break Becky's face. But in typical heel fashion, this does not happen. Although she says that Zoe Starks will face Becky next week. Because supposedly Trish Stratus had a doctor's appointment on a Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trish's nose is allergic to redheads. Yeah. Thoughts on Shayna's promo? I hope they push her after Ronda. And have you heard Zoe Stark's theme yet? OMG. Um, my thoughts on Shayna's promo. I actually really liked it. Her best promo to date, and since she's been on the main roster, I really hope they do push her. Like I said, if they potentially build her up to be the one to take the title off of Rhea Ripley, and they would be running it back. Remember, on NXT, Shayna Baszler was NXT Women's Champion, and who took the title off from her? Rhea Ripley. The WWE Women's Tag Titles are on par with the TNT's title level of relevancy these days. Too much, too hot potatoing going on. Exactly. So, after this, we get the Cody Rhodes interview, but I already talked about that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it. And we get a 6-person tag match. It is Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. And this was Maxine Dupree's in-ring debut. And you know what? For some reason, you know what? She was actually pretty over. Like, she did the whole jiggle thing, and she was really over with the crowd, which surprised me. But hey, I guess Alpha Academy and Maxine were a good pairing after all. And I was surprised, but Maxine actually pinned Valhalla. See, if you would have, a couple months ago, I could have told you the Viking Raiders could have potentially been tag team champions or in a formidable force in the tag team division, but now I don't think they are. Maxine actually killed it. Maxine wasn't bad, but her doing that caterpillar was awful. Exactly, she wasn't bad. With a little bit more training, I think she could be better. And I have no issue with Alpha Academy winning if they would have faced like a local jobber squad. But you're facing the Viking Raiders here, who at one point, in my opinion, could have legitimately been contenders for those tag titles. But if you ask me now, they're not even in the conversation when it comes to challenging for those tag titles. They stop their push so much. Like, honestly, the Viking Raiders deserve better. They had so much momentum last year, and where did it all go? We get a Ricochet backstage interview, and he basically said that he respects that Logan Paul can hang in the ring with them because he says a lot of people thought that Logan Paul didn't belong in the Money in the Bank match, which is true. And he's issuing a challenge next week on Raw for Logan Paul. Says, I'm tired of this feud with Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders. Me too. So Ricochet versus Logan Paul, they've had some pretty memorable spots. So, you know what? I honestly think that it's not going to be a bad singles match. I don't think so. They had botched that one spot in the Money in the Bank match, though. That table spot, that was totally botched. So next we get the Women's World Championship match. It's Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. And I have to be completely honest, I was not looking forward to this match. I thought it was going to be like, oh, here we go. Rhea's going to make quick work of Natty and we're going to move on. But that wasn't the case. This was actually a really good match. And prior to the start of the match, you saw Natty talking to Liv and Raquel Rodriguez. But this wasn't a bad match. I actually really enjoyed this match. And I was surprised they actually let them go. Rhea Ripley paying homage, I guess you can say, to Dominik by doing the frog splash. But Natty, she got her feet up. And if you guys look closely, Rhea Ripley was bleeding from her mouth. But it's no surprise here. Rhea Ripley wins, and then she beat down Natty. And then Liv and Raquel Rodriguez came out to help Natty. So that's probably what she was talking to them about. So we get 2 video promos by The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa, and we basically find out that they're going to have a no DQ match next week on Raw. That was the best match of the night, and shockingly, I'm seeing that of an Italian match. Yeah, that is a surprise. So here's the thing. Let me see. Logan Paul be like, hey, Vinny, got any spots in that Money in the Bank match, though? You betcha, pal. So after this, we're supposed to get Matt Riddle versus Giovanni Vinci, but then it cuts, like Matt Riddle came out to the ring, and then it cut backstage, and it showed the aftermath of the Natty Rhea Ripley match, and it's like, why? Like, why couldn't you just like follow the match? So we get a tease. Io Sky appears and she tells Rhea she will see her around, and she holds up the briefcase. Rhea Ripley tells her it will be the biggest mistake of her life. And then Damian Priest and Dominik Mysterio appear, and Rhea Ripley says if Liv and Raquel get in her business again, they're going to regret it. And MSG was charging a lot for tickets. Oh, really? How much? Were they charging, like 3 digits? So then that's when we get Matt Riddle versus Giovanni Vinci. And I feel like this match was pretty short because Matt Riddle seemed to make quick work of Giovanni Vinci. Matt Riddle did win this match. And of course, there's a post-match assault on Riddle. And then who came out? Drew McIntyre came out to help Matt Riddle. And then we find out, let me see. Shit, was that for nosebleeds? Or for like front row? If that's for nosebleeds, that's pretty expensive. We find out next week Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle are going to team up. And the main event is Seth Freakin Rollins versus Dominik Mysterio. Oh, wow. Okay. One of my favorite spots in this match was Seth Freakin Rollins doing the Three Amigos to Dominik. And then him trying to do the frog splash, but Rhea Ripley caused a distraction, pushing Seth Rollins off the turnbuckle. Damian Priest pushed Seth Rollins off the turnbuckle while Rhea had the ref distracted. So this match ends in a DQ because Damian Priest does the South of Heaven to Seth Rollins. Finally got back to the desk and was able to get... Oh, thank you. The match was okay. It was alright. But what I really liked was what happened afterwards. So, Damian Priest was beating down on Seth freaking Rollins, and Dominik was encouraging Damian Priest to cash in his money in the bank to Seth Rollins. And it really looked like he was going to cash in, but Finn Balor came out of nowhere and attacked Rollins, and he actually pushed Damian Priest from the ring ropes. And so, like, I remind you, Finn Balor was nowhere to be seen during this entire episode until the very end. And so then, to close off Raw, Damian Priest and Finn Balor were arguing. Rhea Ripley was, like, trying to get involved. And while all that was happening, poor Dominik Mysterio got pedigreed on the outside by Seth Rollins. And they realized too late what had happened. You gave a 0 out of 10 fire of a show. My Mountain Dew, I had some charisma there. That's funny. So I have to say, I really like the ending. I did like that Natty match. Did like that Shayna Baszler match. But aside from that, it was a pretty decent Raw. It was okay, maybe an okay Raw. Like, I didn't hate it, but it doesn't help when everything goes from segment to segment to segment. Like, again, like, this opening segment could have been much stronger if you just focused on Seth Rollins, or you could have just focused on Cody Rhodes and Lesnar. It just seems to me like there's so much bouncing around that. There's no, like, clear focus. And that Shinsuke Nakamura Damian Priest match didn't mean anything. I don't even know why that match happened. So, because there were a few things I did like and there were a few things I disliked, I'm going to be generous and give this Raw a 6 out of 10. This was a fallout from Money in the Bank. So, but that would be it for this review. Thank you guys all so much for watching, especially if you're tuning in. I know it's late for where some of you guys are at. But thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I want you guys all to have a happy, safe holiday tomorrow. Happy 4th of July, everybody. And I'll see you guys Wednesday after Dynamite. Bye.